Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have SJ. SJ is a photographer from Cape Town in South Africa. So let's see what SJ has to say. Enjoy the interview.
Hey there.
Hello SJ, how are you?
Well, and you?
I'm very well, thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time on Saturday for the interview.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for asking me. I was very surprised when you reached out. I was at first I thought it was spam.
That's most of the people they think about. They go like, oh my God, is that real? I received straight away message. Are you real or are you spam?
Yeah, it's nice to see that you're not spam, which is awesome. So yeah,
Good.
It's exciting.
Great. Should I call you SJ?
Yeah, you can call me SJ, but inevitably you're gonna ask me what it's short for, right? You want to know what it stands for?
Yes.
Okay, so this is always the fun part. So I'm Afrikaans, so I carry both my grandfather's names, which is ironic because I'm not having children. So the bloodline just stops here. So I don't know why I'm carrying these names, but it's short for Stephanus Jacobus.
Wow. Long name.
It's a mouthful, so that's why SJ is much easier.
I see. SJ, before we start the game, tell me where you're from.
So I'm currently living in Cape Town. I'm originally from Johannesburg, but I've been living in Cape Town, South Africa now for 11 years.
Right. And besides the weather, what's the best part of living in Cape Town?
I think it's just a well-run city. You know, everything just works here, and it's beautiful. It's like I'm a photographer, so obviously there's so many opportunities to take beautiful images. You've got the mountain, you've got the forest, and it's weird. Like one side you've got like oceans, and on the other side you've got desert, and then you've got forests. So it's just like a beautiful space to live in. So yeah, I think that's one of the plus points of living here.
And what's the biggest difference between Cape Town and Johannesburg?
I think it's like I said, it's just a well-run city, and Joburg is very fast-paced. It's like it's almost like New York if you have to explain it. And Cape Town is much more laid back. So that is something I had to get used to when I moved here, because I came here with like a fast-paced, business, city-minded approach, and I quickly learned Cape Town is much more chilled. But I think any coastal town is going to be that way.
I see. And
the people also dress differently, and it's a whole different vibe. So I had to quickly learn, that's also very, very different here.
And the reason why you moved to Cape Town is because your job, your career.
Yeah, I got an amazing opportunity to come and run a school down here and teach. So I was at a place in my life where I needed a new challenge and a new opportunity. So yeah, when the opportunity came, I was like, I'm ready for this. So I moved down here, like up here. I never know if it's up or down. And so I've been here ever since. I'm not running the school anymore, but I've just created a lot of different opportunities since then.
I see. So tell me a little bit about your career as a photographer.
So I basically studied graphic design, which, I think back then, this was in 2001, there wasn't a lot of I don't think everything was as evolved or as advanced in terms of now you can study very intricate design things. So back then everything was quite, study graphic design or interior design or textile design. So I decided graphic design, because I came from it's not a small town, but it was a very conservative town. And I was always the weird kid, tie-dyeing my clothes, listening to Bjork, wearing Doc Martens, green ones. So obviously the natural progression would be for me to go and study at an arts academy or like an arts, in anything arts related. So I studied graphic design. I did my degree in that, but I knew as soon as I started that I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. But luckily, while I was studying graphic design, photography and retouching was one of my subjects. So I knew as soon as I started with photography, I was like, this is something that I'm really interested in, and it's something I want to do. And then when I got my degree, I got a job as a graphic designer, and they fired me after a week because I sucked. I was bad at it. So they told me sorry, we have to let you go. You're making our jobs twice as hard, and you were supposed to make life easier for everyone here. So I got fired after a week. So you can just imagine the little bit of, when you're young, your ego's up here. So then a little bit of deflation, I'm fired. What do I do now? And my dad arranged an interview for me to go and work at a local magazine back in my hometown. And I was employed as a photographer and a journalist. So I started writing articles and taking photos. And then just everything kind of like progressed from there. And then I was very lucky to move to Cape Town and run a school here, a makeup school, because I studied makeup as well. And I ran a makeup school, and then eventually I sold that. And then I started my own photographic studio, and I was running that for a while. And right now I'm working full-time at a modeling agency in Cape Town, taking photos of models and building their books and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
You do a lot. Amazing. I love it.
Yeah, like I think that's the interesting thing about like being a creative. It's like as soon as I get bored, or as soon as something doesn't inspire me or challenge me, either life pulls the carpet from underneath you or you change it yourself. So I'm very lucky and blessed to have worked in a lot of different industries, and experienced a lot of different things. But you never know where it's going to take you. So that's the exciting part about everything.
I totally agree with you. I think sometimes life takes us in a direction that you're not expecting, and we enjoy so much about it, the journey, isn't it? That's what makes it interesting.
Exactly, and you never know where it's going to go. And I find like the more you try to stay in one place and you try not to change, eventually like life will just like push you off the edge of the cliff, and then you're like, why did this happen? And it's like because you were standing still for so long and you didn't listen to all the little like hints, and it's almost like life throws little pebbles at you, like change your life, and then you don't listen, and then a boulder rolls over you, and you're like, where did that come from? And it's like, well, you didn't listen to the pebble, so eventually we had to push a boulder over you. So
but I believe as well, sometimes what I truly believe is sometimes life sends a sign to you, little signs for you to get. And if you don't take those signs, life just comes and pushes you straight away. Okay, now it's time, go.
And I've been pushed a few times, so I'm used to it by now. So I think like when I see things, I'm like, okay, this is a push and I should listen.
Very good. SJ, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yes, I'm ready. Like, let's do it.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my box.
It's the magic box. I was waiting for this moment, so I've been watching his videos. So I'm like,
great. I'm just gonna play a song now, just for us to get a little bit in the mood before the first question. Okay?
Let's go for it.
Okay, SJ, just before I pick the first question through the game, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, I always can change, okay? It's all very friendly.
Oh, all good.
First question for you is, what's the most dramatic argument you ever had?
The most dramatic?
Argument you ever had?
Ooh, I've had a lot. I think pretty much my life revolves around dramatic things. So, I have to think about this. I think probably like when I decided I want to produce a TV show, and I just decided one day I want a TV show and I want to do a makeover TV show where we turn women into celebrities from the past. And I put together a presentation, and I went to a producer, and that same day they gave me money, and we produced 2 series of that TV show. So that was the craziest idea I've ever had, just to go into TV, and then it just like magically happened. So.
Wow, beautiful, amazing. Next question, let's do it. Before the next question, SJ, tell me what do you like the most about your job, and what's the most challenging part in your opinion?
I think the thing I love the most, and I think that is what I love in photography, is you really have the opportunity to capture a moment in time and capture someone's essence and spirit. And also, like, I really love it when someone sees their photo and their eyes just light up, and or they get tears in their eyes, and they say like, you really understand me, you captured the essence of me. And I think that for me is really important, is having a connection with the person that is in front of my lens, and not trying to change them into something that I would like them to be, and that's also why I really enjoy doing portraits, and especially portraits of older women, because I feel like they've lived their life, they've had a lot of experience, and when you capture them, you're seeing who they are. When you're younger, often we are projecting what the world wants us to be, but when you're older, you've got a sense of self, And I think that is always why portraits of older people resonate, on a different level. I think the most challenging thing is whenever you take a photo of someone, I think there's a barrier, and I think no matter who you are, you're always like intimidated by a photo. You always worried about your flaws. You're worried about the way you're going to look. You don't really know this person. Are they going to get your good angles? Are they going to understand you? So I think that is the most challenging part, is just to break through that wall and make someone understand you are beautiful, you are perfect, you are imperfectly perfect. I just want to capture the best, picture of you in this moment, because you're never going to be, tomorrow you're going to be older already. So just embrace now, and don't always, because we always I'm going to be prettier tomorrow, I'm going to be thinner tomorrow, I'm going to be better tomorrow. But the thing is that I always tell my clients is this is the moment. This is happiness. This is your life. This is joy. Let's just get a beautiful shot today. And I think once you break down that wall, it's a beautiful moment between both the model and the photographer.
Good. I think when the connection is there, when there is this connection with the photographer, that's when the magic flows.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And it's sometimes hard to get to that point. So I often, if it's not a model or an actor or someone like that, then I like to have consultations with the client. So I like to have a coffee and we chat about it, and then I'll tell funny stories about my life and silly things that have happened in studio. And the moment they start lowering those boundaries and understanding I'm just another human being, I'm doing my job, but I want you to look lovely, and I want you to feel and look beautiful, and I want you to laugh and be silly. It's not that serious. So that connection then comes naturally as soon as they get into the studio, because you've already established almost like a friendship between yourself and the client.
Very good. Next question for you is, what is the weirdest dream you ever had?
I always dream I can fly. I don't know for what reason, but I only fly this high. I don't know why, but I just hover around, and everyone's always so jealous of me in the dream, because look how cool he is. He's just hovering. But I can never get higher than that. And I've dreamt that a few times. I don't know what that says about me, but it's just hovering around town like that. And I always have this moment where I just lift up and people are like, wow. And then I feel so proud of myself, and I'm just hovering around, and but I often dream that, and it's weird. I should probably check that out and ask a shrink or a psychiatrist what that means,
Could be a message behind, you never know.
It might be. Don't fly too high, just go this high. This is the limit. The sky like this,
You made me remember now. Sometimes I have a dream that I have superpower of flying, but I try to get higher, but it doesn't go. And through the dream, I just I have this frustration of trying to get, flying away, but I can't. I have.
What's up with that? I feel there's a flaw in the dream wall. I think they're setting us up for failure. All this, superheroes are flying around town, and we're just hovering in our dreams. And that's the one place we should be flying high. But anyway.
Next one, let's do it. Next question for you, SJ. Let's do it. Do you have a unique ability that you think no one has or you never met before?
I've got a few actually, but I think the one that I'm really good at is I'm very good at making people laugh, and connecting with someone very quickly, and making jokes and bringing humor in. I think it's something that happened in high school. I was bullied quite a lot in high school, and I learned very quickly that humor, when you make someone laugh, they don't want to beat you up or they don't want to bully you anymore because you're making them laugh. So I learned very quickly, being a clown or making jokes, or just diffusing the situation with humor really helps a lot. So that's one thing. People always telling me you should be a stand-up comedian, you're so funny, you should write a book. So that's an ability that I think is quite unique to me, is that I can quickly diffuse a situation, or I can make someone feel at ease by just making them laugh and telling jokes and using humor.
Nice. And do you have siblings as well?
Yes, I have two younger sisters.
See. All back to Johannesburg?
My little sister is 8 years younger than me. She lives in Cape Town, and then my middle sister is 2 years younger. She lives back in Joburg. She lives in the same town as my parents, where I grew up.
I see. Good one. Next question. Before the next question, when your clients come to you to your business, what's the most frequent questions what they're looking for? One of the most, I like to say, most frequent questions that they come after you.
How much can you Photoshop me? That's usually I usually get that. Can you make me thinner? Can you make me this? Can you make my hair bigger? Can you take away this? So that's often like a question, but it's always like a joke. And then you'll always get like the men, when like if it's a couple, like men in the shoot will always be like, oh, what can you do for my face? Can you put makeup on me? You're gonna tease my hair, you know, that type of joke. So there's always like that type of joke in the beginning of a session. But I usually ask people just like up front, before they can even ask me a question, I'm just like, what is it that you want from today? What do you want from this day? And then they'll say, I want beautiful photos, or I want pretty pictures. And then I always ask them, what is a beautiful photo to you? Because what I think is a beautiful photo and what you think is a beautiful photo is very different. And I don't think a lot of photographers ask their clients that up front. They just shoot and, you know, give them the photos and like, this is what I think is beautiful. But I think once you understand that each customer and client is different and they all have different perceptions of what makes up a beautiful photo or what they're expecting from that session, I think that is important. And I think once you ask that, a lot of the questions disappear. You know, a lot of the insecurities, a lot of the barriers and stress just disappears.
And do you have your clients, they are more females or male?
At the moment, because I'm working at a modeling agency, it's basically 50-50 males and females. But before that, it was primarily females. So my whole career has been built on very beautiful, strong, independent, and intelligent women, which I'm very grateful for.
I see. Next question is, what's your idea of a perfect friendship?
Perfect friendship. I think at the end of the day, someone who understands you and doesn't give you pressure when you have a tough time and you just want to be quiet. It's those type of friends that even if you don't talk to them for like weeks or months, even like when you talk again, you just immediately connect again. I think that's super, super important, you know, because we're living in such busy times. So I really appreciate friends who will check in on you, but they're not immediate. They don't expect you to check in every day. And also just friends who will just say, hey, I was thinking of you. Are you okay? Or but yeah, I just think friends that are just comfortable, you know, it's almost like you're coming home once you are like around them. So they remind you of home because it's so comfortable with them. So I think that's the idea of a perfect friend, is someone who just accepts you of all your flaws, and it's just always there regardless whether you can be there for them all the time.
Your best friend, they lives in Cape Town or back to Johannesburg or different place?
One of my best friends immigrated to Australia, so yeah, that was, and another one of my friends immigrated to the Netherlands. So my friends are like being scattered all across the world. So we basically have to do Zoom calls and WhatsApp and things like that. So, but it's nice, you know, we still, it's almost like they would like still together, but even though they're in different countries, we still have that connection going. And my friend who lives in Australia, we've been friends since since we were 14. So that's 26 years of friendship, which I think is incredible to still be friends with someone for such a long time.
Wow, beautiful.
Yes.
Ready for another question?
Yeah, bring it.
Let's do it. KSJ from Johannesburg or Cape Town? South Africa.
South Africa, yeah, that's the easiest way. Just put it under that umbrella.
Next question is, what do you think is a good age to start dating and why?
Sure, this is a tough one. I think like in my experience, I started at my early, like I only came out at the age of, I think I was like 20. And I think at that age, you are, it's almost difficult. It's different now, but I don't think at that age I've dated enough in my teen years to establish, you know, how dating really works, you know, because you were like kind of like waiting to leave the house and go and study and be who you want to be. And I think at that age, you know, like you kind of like still finding yourself. So I think everybody is different, but I think your 20s is a very confusing, challenging, weird time as well. It's almost like you're almost like a teenager, but now you have a bank account, you know? So I think with dating, everybody is different, but in my experience, I think dating in your 20s is you have to kind of like figure out what you want and what you are looking for going forward. But I think also you should be less serious about it, because I was in my 20s, I would fall in love with someone weekly, and then I would already plan our marriage. I was like, we're gonna get married, we're gonna buy a house, we're gonna get a dog, and then like 2 days later they leave you, or they like drop you, and then you go to your journal and you write like, why did they break my heart? And you're listening to sad songs, and then like a day later you fall in love with someone again. You know, it's because I actually kept a journal when I was in my 20s, and I read it every now and then, and I just laugh at myself, because I just wish I was less serious. I wish I just had more fun. I wish I was kinder to myself, and I wish I just like stopped falling in love with anyone who gave me attention. You know, like you just touch me and I'm like, marry me. You know, and it's like, just enjoy it. Just be young. But I think your 30s is a nice age to start settling down. I think your 20s you should be having fun and getting all of that out of your system, and then I think at 30 you are ready to kind of like settle down. You know, you've partied, you've done all the things, you've been around the block, you've met a lot of people, you've learned a lot about who you are. So I think 30s is a good age in general, like to just settle down and then just date a lot in your 20s and figure out who you are.
You're saying about coming out when you're in your 20s. Did you always have the support of your loved ones, your family around you?
I mean, like when I was 5 years old, like I wanted to be a mermaid, you know, and I dressed up like a mermaid. So I don't think it was a massive surprise when I did come out, but I think, you know, like my parents were, they're lovely parents, but they're religious and very conservative. So I think they wanted me to come to them. They didn't want to like ask me. They were like waiting for me to tell them when I was ready. And I did that in my 20s. But yeah, they've been lovely and supportive. Obviously in the beginning, you know, we were trying to kind of like, you know, figure out where this is going to go. I think all parents inherently, when their child tells them that they are gay or part of the LGBTQ community, they have that, it's not a perception, but they know that lifestyle, or not that lifestyle, but that life can be difficult, and there's a lot of challenges, there's a lot of heartbreak, the world is going to be tougher and more difficult for their child. So I think they just want to protect you, and sometimes that protection that they want to give you, or that worry about life that's waiting for you, comes across that they don't approve of your who you are. So I think, you know, like that's also something to understand, is that they're just looking out for you, and they know that your life is just going to be a little bit more tougher, and there's going to be a few more challenges, but they still love you. So yeah, no, they've been lovely and supportive, yeah, we get along fine, and yeah.
You say about the mermaid as a child. I had a guest on the show, and I asked him about being gay, they had support, and he said, yes, I never came out to my parents because they had eyes.
Yeah, exactly. It's mine as well. I mean, when you are like that young and you're dressing up as a mermaid, and I mean, 2 weeks later, I'm at the child psychiatrist, you know, like this child has got like rainbow fever, please help him. You know? And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, you know, like I'm like 6, 7 years old, but also like, what did they expect taking me to watch The Little Mermaid? Like, what did they think was going to happen? You know, it's just like every single gay guy I know loves The Little Mermaid. And if you think about it, it makes so much sense. It's a young girl falls in love with someone she's not supposed to love. She gives up everything she knows, her family, everything, you know, to go for, you know, somebody she's not allowed to be in love with. So I mean, it resonates with us in a different way than I think it resonates with other people.
Absolutely. You said something very interesting as well. I think parents, they know their child very well. Sometimes they know us better than ourselves, you know what I mean? Yeah. And of course, sometimes, as you said about being gay, I think they just want to protect us. They don't, and sometimes as well, the society is so strong out there that, you know, they just want to protect us because they know it's not going to be like a easy journey, let's say, put this way. But yeah, I think they know us very well, their child, for sure.
They're always just going to look out for you. You know, comes from, sometimes that love comes from a place that they don't really know how to communicate, and then I think that's where a lot of fighting and you know, miscommunication comes from.
Absolutely. Next question, SJ. Let's do it. Next question is, what can make you cry, and what can make you really happy?
I think as I get older, this changes. I don't know, like about other people, but I'm turning 40 this year. So I don't know, like beautiful songs and movies just like hit me like a steam train now. Where when I was younger, I wouldn't, but now it'd be, just have a beautiful scene in a movie or a well-written scene or beautiful music, and then I would just like cry, and and I think also like just beautiful like photos and things that inspire me just like moves me. I think since I was very young, I would always like experience everything at 150%. And I think it was difficult for me as a child because I would watch a movie or I would listen to a song or buy a toy, and then I would just like experience it in such a different way, like as opposed to other children. I would talk about a movie for hours. I would like research it. I would listen to music. I will, try to create something based on it. So I think like that sensory type of stimulation is still very much with me. And as I'm getting older, I think I'm getting more nostalgic about my life, about my experiences, about my past. So yeah, I don't think it takes much to like these days to make me cry. And I think that's a good thing. I think the more connected you get with self, and the more open you are to your emotions, the more you evolve as a human and your spirit grows. So yeah, beautiful music, beautiful movies, and just kindness. If people just show kindness, and I see acts of kindness, towards me or around me, that also like moves me quite a bit. Things that make me laugh. I've got quite a dark sense of humor, so I also the things I laugh at sometimes, like the shows I watch and the things that I sometimes find funny. It's not always. It's not stuff that I can always like share with everyone, but it just depends. But I enjoy. There's certain like movies I'll watch that always make me laugh. Death Becomes is always something that I watch that makes me laugh. Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion, Muriel's wedding. So those things always make me laugh. So if I'm having a bad day, I'll always like turn to those cheesy movies, and they'll always make me like just crack a smile.
You're saying that you turned 40 this year. Me too. Which month?
I'm turning 40 on the 8th of May this year.
Okay, I'm from November. So yeah, 1982, good year.
Yes, it's good year. Hey, like such good babies came out of that year. Good people. How do you feel about turning 40? How's the experience for you?
And to be honest to you, SJ, age for me never been a problem, never been an issue. I think age is just a number. I just feel actually like mentally, I feel even younger than I was when I was younger. You know what I mean? I just feel sometimes that I don't see any difference. I feel more kind of, let's say, quiet. Like you know what I mean? I'm more. Analyze things, let's say, in a better way, or I even when I'm gonna do something, or I'm gonna give a step or something, I always analyze. I feel, as you say about nostalgic as well. Sometimes I feel very nostalgic for some reason, in a good way. You know what I mean? Like this nice feeling of nostalgic. So yeah, but I think it's I feel very of course, like physically, sometimes I go to the gym, I was like 10 years ago I didn't feel that pain, or it was easier for me to do that. So I have sometimes have this feeling, but besides that, I don't see any, besides of my gray hair as well, I don't see any other.
Like, I mean, I just wish all of this would go gray now. I love gray hair. I think it's
me
so
too,
beautiful.
Actually. Yeah, me too. I can't wait to be all covered in gray. I can't wait to be, it bothered me just this bit here, but like I just want to be all full covered in gray. I think it's nice.
Proper silver fox, loading.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, I have 3 questions left for you, okay?
Awesome.
Do it. All right, next question is that a dream you always had?
Like for my life, or like what type?
Yeah, overall, like as for your life, or
I think like a big dream I've always had. I've always wanted to visit New York, and I think like maybe this would be the year that I'm making that happen. So that's always been a dream since my early 20s. I've always wanted to experience New York, so I really, really want to like tick that off. So I think that's definitely something on my bucket list.
Another coincidence between you and me. As a child, when I started studying English and I was 12 years old, I had this fascination about New York. I don't know why. I always had this dream of going to New York. And 3 years ago, I went for the first time in New York, and I I spent 4 days there, and I was like, oh my God, it was like a dream come true. You can have no idea. It just felt like, my God, I don't know. I always had this thing about New York. I don't know why. I always had.
It's just like the city that never sleeps. So I actually just want to go there, and I want to buy like this cookie dough that you just squeeze out, and I just want to eat cookie dough and walk down the street and experience people bumping me and being rude. And I'm just going to be like, this is heaven. This is amazing.
I remember being there. I remember when I was there, and of course seeing the yellow cabs, the yellow taxi and everything. But I just realized, like literally, I said, okay, I'm in New York when I saw the guardman organize the traffic, and I was like, oh my God, this is New York. I remember the movies. I was like, oh, this is New York. I'm here.
It's incredible. So I can't wait to experience that. But I'm so glad you've already ticked that off for yourself, because that's incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Before the next question, SJ, I would like you to tell me a funny story or interesting story that's happened to you during a photo shoot, or something that unexpected happened to you through your career, if you can share.
I can tell you a funny story like that happened in the studio. So before I moved to Cape Town, I was this is not the funny part of the story because it's quite serious. I was in an armed robbery. They broke into our house, stole everything, tied us up. Because obviously crime in SA, South Africa, we have a problem with crime. Luckily, nothing happened. We got out of there. But then obviously after that, I had like a little bit of PTSD, post-traumatic stress, because obviously working through all of that adrenaline. So I had another lady in my studio, and she's never done a photo shoot before. And I also do makeup. So I was doing her makeup, and I had this, I just want to show, I had a brush like this, but it was bigger. And I was powdering her face. And one of the lights next to me blew, the bulb blew. So it made this huge sound. And in my mind, I thought, the robbers are back. And I got such a fright. I actually pushed the brush into her mouth, like this, it went full on into her mouth. And it was just so big, and it just sat in her mouth. And she didn't know that was not normal. So she just sat there with the brush in her mouth. And I just remember standing there, I don't know what to do. So I was like, ooh, let's just take that out of your mouth. But the poor woman, her first photo shoot, and the photographer shoves a brush into your mouth and just leaves you there in the chair. and I didn't even know how to explain that, but I was just shoving it in the mouth, and I don't know, the defense mechanism or what was going on there. And this lady's just sitting there with this brush in her mouth. And I was like, okay, sorry, let's just take that out, get a new brush and powder you again, because obviously this was now full of soot. We can't use this. So yeah, shame. But because it was her first photo shoot, I don't know, she probably thought I wanted to powder her tongue, or maybe her mouth needed some powder or something. She was so lovely. She was just so calm, just sitting there with the brush in her mouth, not even moving.
Maybe she thought, oh my God, I think he thinks that I need a very deep makeup, very heavy makeup.
Deep cleansing, deep powdering. So I was just I think that is the funniest thing that's ever happened in studio. But there's a lot of stuff that's happened, but that's always the one I go back to, because it was just so, it was funny because it was built on something that was quite scary, but what it did to me, it caused me to shove a brush into a poor lady's mouth later on in life. So that's the one I would actually mention.
Oh, that's funny. Right, next question is, how long can you go without checking your phone?
This is a tough one, because I work a lot with images, and as a photographer you have to always upload things and look at photos and look at inspiration. But I actually go on cleanses. So I'll I've been on an Instagram cleanse last year in the festive season during December. So I tried not to post as much. I tried to step away. Anytime when I feel social media is trying to, or not trying, but when it starts making me feel insecure about myself, or I start measuring myself, because especially always being bombarded by people with perfect bodies and perfect faces and perfect lives, and and no matter how strong you are, eventually that stuff starts getting to you. So the moment I start feeling that, I'm like, it's time to switch this off and leave the phone a little bit. So I do make a conscious effort, when I start feeling I'm too accessible, or social media or anything is getting to me, then I just I make a little, it's almost like a little alarm on my phone. So I'll be cool, I'm leaving the phone alone now for 2 hours. I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to hike. I'm going to chat to my friends, or going to play with the dogs, just so that I can, have a little bit of a healthy balance in terms of how I use my phone.
Yes, I think social media, they sell a lot of perfection, which does exist, you know what I mean? Just in our mind, you get so into it that you just put ourselves in that mood.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, nobody ever like shows, you know, the real side of life, you know, and you know, like nobody shows like I've got a pimple, or you know, like I had a, you know, I was eating too much, or like here's my stomach, it's bloated, here's my stretch marks. You know, they don't show that stuff, you know, so we kind of like feel like there's something wrong with us when we have that. And I wish more people, and I think it is happening right now, but I wish more people would just be real, you know, and just be like, this is who I am. I'm not perfect. I'm not a Ken doll. And it's okay not to be a Ken doll, you know, because you're so busy trying to build this perfect body and this perfect face and this perfect life that life actually passes you by. And then when you have all those things, you're like, oh my word, you're like, I'm old, I don't have anyone, my life has just went past me because I was so obsessed with trying to be perfect that I actually didn't enjoy my life.
Absolutely. SJ, ready for the last one?
Yes.
Let's do it. Last question. But before the last question, I would like you to tell, for people watching the interview, would you like to start a career as a photographer? What would be your best piece of advice for those people?
I think the best piece of advice I can give someone is to experiment with as many different types of photography, understand light, and then find your own magic. Don't try to be like anybody else. Don't try to copy other people. And the only way you're going to find yourself is also just living your life, because you can't know who you are as an artist if you don't know who you are as a person. So I think get to know yourself, experience life, learn all the technical things about light, experience different types of photography, and then figure out who you want to be. Because I find if you try and copy and paste someone else's career, or you're trying to be like another photographer, you'll never be authentic in your craft, and eventually, you know, the magic will run out and you won't enjoy your career anymore. So I think that is something that's very, very important. And I think also assisting other photographers as much as possible while you're starting out your career is super important. So you can just get exposed to different creative people and learn those valuable lessons, whether it's about business, how to, you know, shoot and work on a set, how to work with different people, and just be a people person, you know, like this is not an industry where you can be someone who's like, I don't like people, I don't like dealing with people. You have to love people, you have to love being around them, because essentially you are capturing people. So that's also super important to remember. And also, like, if you are battling yourself and you don't like who you are, you're never going to be able to capture someone beautifully or like authentically if you are struggling with your own self-worth and confidence.
Good. Last question for you, SJ, is, would you ever get a tattoo, and what that would be?
I don't actually have any. Like it's yeah. I think I'm one of those people, like if I get something, I'll have to get it somewhere I can't see it, because I'll love it today and then tomorrow I'll change my mind and then I'll hate it. So, but I've always wanted like an octopus tattoo because it's my favorite animal. So I will probably get something like that. But I saw this tattoo of a girl who had an octopus tattoo all over her back, and the tentacles were going all over her body, and that's beautiful. But I don't have the pain threshold to do my entire back, and also it's going to take a long time. And I'm that type of person. If I want a tattoo, it must be done and perfect the next day. I don't want to go back for session after session after session, because I'm impatient in that way. But it will probably, if I have to choose something, it will be an octopus, and it will be somewhere I won't be able to see it every day.
Back again for the question you made for me regarding the 40 years old. It's something as well about tattoos. It's something that I love seeing people with tattoos. I think it's beautiful, you know what I mean? I think they are expressing themselves, and some of the tattoos are just like fascinating. But myself, always being very scared, and other things as well, as you said about, I'm scared to get tired of it, to look at it all the time. So I need to be somewhere that I cannot see all the time. And actually, again, about the 40s, it's something that I'm start considering as well. That's something that came along, you know, with age. I kind of like, oh, why not? You know what I mean? Something very discreet, something that's not gonna, you know what I mean, make me regret or something. That's something with age as well.
I think something authentic, something that resonates with you, something that reminds me of your journey or who you are. But you know as well, as you like go through each decade, you change your mind, you change into a different person. So if I got a tattoo in my 20s, I would have probably gotten like an anime character or like something like that I loved back in those days. And I love those things, but not as much anymore. So if I did get a few of the things that I liked back then, it's something that wouldn't resonate with me right now. And I think that's something that kept me away from tattoos, but I think it's an incredible art form. I love people who have it. And I think like when someone has a sleeve with like, you know, something that has meaning, it's beautiful. And especially when people get about their families, their mom's names or dates or things that are important to them, I think that's also like, you know, beautiful, and it's forever. So you'll always be reminded of those special people and moments.
Imagine we do another interview, like let's say in 10 years time, we're going to be both of us covered in tattoos.
I'll put this on my forehead, you know, like, yeah, I did it, you know, like, there we go.
The octopus comes all the way on your face like this.
Everywhere, or a little mermaid on my forehead, you know. You just
It's funny. Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Religion.
Spiritual.
Politics.
Politics. I don't even know how to answer that, because my real feelings about politics at the moment is a bit skewed, but I would just say dishonesty.
Okay, one word for love.
Trust.
Money.
Need some.
Family.
Forever.
About life.
Life.
Yeah.
Journey.
One word for sex.
Connection. Trust. Yeah, okay. So I think that comes to mind. Fun.
Fear.
Sorry?
Fear.
Fear. Adrenaline.
Friendship.
Love.
Regret.
The past.
Okay. So desire.
Desire. Say action.
Success.
Success. Perseverance.
Wish.
Wish. Manifest.
Happiness.
Laughter.
One word for the Johannesburg.
Busy.
One word for Cape Town.
Relaxed.
South Africa.
Beautiful.
One word for Nelson Mandela.
Icon.
One word for photographer.
Photographer. Dreamer.
Okay, and the last one now. I hope I'm gonna say right. SJ Van Zyl photography.
One word for that. Just blessed.
Okay. Did I say right, by the way?
Yeah, it's SJ Van Zyl photography. So you did it stuff. Yeah.
Let's play, before we ask me a question, let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee. And I'm going to ask your best friend, what is the most beautiful thing about SJ, and what's something that he still needs to improve on, to work on? What do you think your best friend will tell me?
I think she'll say the fact that I want to help everyone and I want to heal everyone, and I'm very sensitive to people's energy, so I just want to help everyone and fix them and heal them. And I think the thing she would say I'm bad at is that I give a lot and I don't always know when to stop giving. So sometimes I'll approach people who just take and take and take, and I just want to give and give and give, and then eventually I become tired, or I become like depressed about people just taking things from me. But I must learn the limit of what I can give, and that I can't always fix and save everyone around me.
Work in progress?
Yes. Definitely work in progress.
Very good. Let's play now SJ and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. But okay, SJ, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, so if I were to fly you to South Africa, what would be the top 5 things you would like to do when you get here?
I love the question. Is this an invitation, by the way, to come to South Africa?
It's an invitation. Well, it is an invitation, but it's an invitation to come and spend some time here. But yeah, you can choose both Cape Town and Joburg or whatever you would like to do here. What is the top 5 things you'd love to do here?
Okay, I love the question. I love the question, by the way. I've had so many guests on the show from South Africa, and actually tonight is going to come a new interview for someone from South Africa, from Johannesburg, actually.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, it's tonight. So anyway, right. By the way, I've been fascinated about the country. All right. So the first thing I think I would like to visit Cape Town for the whole beauty, for the whole, you know what I mean, the beaches, everything about the city. I think the energy there. I remember my ex-boyfriend telling me about how amazing the energy, how people are approachable, you know, and I just would love to come to Cape Town. One of the first things. I would like to go to Johannesburg as well, for the reason why I had so many guests from Johannesburg, and they tell me so much things about the city as well, as you said, about being busy, but at the same time as well, I think I would love to go there. Third thing, I would like to do the safari. I'd like to do the safari. Yeah. I think it's something that's, you know what I mean, it's one of the very first thing I'd like to do is to do the safari. The other thing as well, I would like to do it in South Africa. I think I would like, it doesn't matter where in South Africa, but I was talking to a friend a long time ago about South Africa, and this friend said to me that she's the best night, the sky, she saw the stars, like the sky was in South Africa. I said, William, I never seen anywhere else in the world the beautiful of the sky during the night in South Africa, the stars, it's just so fascinating. So I'd like to take a special day just to go somewhere where I could see the skies in a very clear night, just to sit down there and enjoy the stars. And the last one, I think, come to Cape Town. Actually, I'd like to see the Nelson Mandela. I think there's not a museum or a place where it's like
where he was imprisoned.
Yes, I'd like to visit, explore that. As you say, I will say about Nelson Mandela, you said an icon, and something that I'd like to visit as well, to see a little bit about, you know what I mean, his past, his life, and all his memories there. So yeah, that's the thing I'd like to come to South Africa. And actually, saying that, I have a very good friend of mine. He lives in London, and now he's in South Africa now. He's from Port Elizabeth. So it's something as well that I'd like to see. So as you can see, I have a lot of connections in South Africa, and I can't wait to come to South Africa one day. And I would like to try to get most of my guests together as well. Imagine get everyone together participating in the Magic Box. I think it would be amazing.
Imagine everyone together and you do a live questioning and answer session, which I think would be really cool. That would be really amazing.
I just got goosebumps now. You just gave me an idea now. Actually, could help you. That we could work together, do an event or something like that. Imagine.
And then I'll take portraits of everyone, beautiful portraits of everyone for you.
The idea is getting better and better now, you see.
So, one thing, when you go on safari, is there a specific animal you would love to see in real life?
Right. Good question, actually. I would like to see an elephant in real life, and an elephant, and to touch it as well. I think they're such a beautiful creatures, beautiful animals, and they, you know what I mean? I don't know, when I see elephants on TV, I just can see this massive, heavy animal, but at the same time as well, so it comes across a very calming animal, you know what I mean? You have this approach of protection somehow. I don't know, I'm fascinated. And the giraffe as well. I'd like to see the giraffe. I've never seen in my life a giraffe.
Weird little animal. But when you go to Joburg, there's one bug that you'll see there that is the stuff that is made out of nightmares, and everyone in Joburg is terrified by them. So when you go on Google a Parktown prawn.
Okay.
So it's called the Parktown prawn. Check it out. So if you're in Joburg and you see one of those, you will run for the hills. It is literally like a cockroach and a centipede had a one-night stand, and that's what happened. So it's a really, really like disgusting little bug, and everyone is terrified of them in Joburg. So just putting it out there, but Google it, you'll see.
I will for sure. And I don't want to see one of those for sure.
Yeah, they're everywhere in Joburg, like, but they're not in Cape Town. But it's a very, very like, and they're also very aggressive, and they're not scared of you, and like your cat or your dog won't touch them. So yeah, but they're actually very good for the environment. Like they eat like snails and things that ruin your garden, but they're very like scary looking when you see them, and they're huge. They're like about this big, so it's like,
Oh my God,
it's like a big
cool.
grape.
I'm already scared. SJ, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the interview?
Thank you. Yeah, no, I did. I mean, it was lovely. It was. Thank you so much for asking me. It's been such an honor being part of this project of yours. I think it's an incredible opportunity to see different people and experiences and hear about their lives. So keep on doing all the beautiful work you're doing. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. But before you go, I would like you to share a positive message or positive quote, something that inspires in life.
It says, okay, I'm just going to read it out. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. And that's like my favorite quote, you know, because it basically says you're going to reach a time in your life where it's going to be more painful hiding who you are, not being yourself and your authentic self, than the pain is going to take to just open up and bloom. And I think that's always been a quote that's been very close to my heart. And it's short and it's sweet and it's just timeless.
Absolutely. I think all of us, we have a unique tool to be ourselves. I think that's the only thing we can do, and it's going to take you to beautiful places and beautiful things for sure.
Yeah, and it's, like I said, just be yourself and bloom wherever you are, you know, like even if you're not in the place you thought you were supposed to be, or you look the way you thought you were supposed to look, you know, just embrace where you are and just have fun, you know, because life is short, and just enjoy the journey.
SJ, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you in Cape Town now. We are connected.
Man, so yeah, I'm like, yeah, stay connected and yeah, do that little bucket list, and then we'll see you soon when you're here.
See you soon for sure. Thank you very much for the interview, and enjoy your weekend. Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. You too, and good luck with your other interviews.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.